Hello. Okay, today's lesson is about the charcoal technique on the still life on the gray paper. We are using of the gray paper because gray paper give us a tone, a middle tone. Then in a lot of the places we can use of the middle tone that we have and using of the white charcoal for the whiter area and dark charcoal for the darker area. And the middle tone that we have here can with a little dark charcoal getting darker or lighter. I'm gonna show it to you. We are using of the charcoal, compressed charcoal, and compressed charcoal coming usually in three different kind: medium, soft, and hard. Soft is the darkest one. The hard is the one that you can use for the details. It's harder, a little lighter than the soft, but for the detail it's good, not for the general. When we're using of the charcoal, use of the small pieces of this. You can use of the side, you can use of the corner, or you can use of this line for different places. Also, you can use of your charcoal pencil to make some kind of details or some part that you think that you can use of the smaller you know a smaller kind of the charcoal to working on the small area and details. So then this is what else? Okay, another part that you have to know. Sometimes you want to use of a charcoal and for example you're seeing that it's not working. A lot of them they have a wax on this. Okay, then if you want to get rid of that, then just rub it somewhere and get rid of the wax, then you can use of this. Then this is the second things that I want to talk about this. And so for the composition, it's important. As you know, we are gonna make a composition with the elements of the composition. The composition we learn about the depth, that overlapping gonna give us the depth. We talk about the proportion, then we have to, you see the my still life setting here, that we're gonna compare the object size together. We know about the location, which one is lower, which one is upper. Then you're looking of all of them together. We are using of variety. Variety, it means the some kind of the different, it's a different object, it's a different texture. We have glass, we have a reflective ones. This one is pretty reflective too. It's a ceramic and it's a fruit that we have here. So then we have variety in the medium, but the texture is all of them are smooth. Then this is unity between them that we are talking about. So the first is, like always, you're gonna put the location of your objects. You're gonna, I didn't do it on the video because it's gonna be very long video, but I'm gonna just talk about this. Come with the location of this, just guess that how large they are, and do you have the enough space for everything or no. Then coming with the first object and make it your major object, coming with the, when it's a first object, for example mine was that one, compare the width of this with the height of this, adding the details to it, make it small, actually break it to a simple shapes. Then it can be a square shape here, a rectangular shape here, and for the handles is important where it's started, where it's connect to the body. Then the connection is that you're making, then you're making this negative shape that we have, and after that working on the other part of this. After the first object, you're comparing that the second object with the first object. First, the location of this. What you see on the camera is different from my angle. Then maybe I have more overlapping and you don't see it in the angle of camera. But I'm looking of the overlapping, I'm looking of the top of this and bottom of this, and putting the first is that I'm comparing this object with this object, and after that is that I'm comparing the width and height of this with each other. I'm looking of the ratio between this base stand and this one, and the same for the other ones. Your drawing is that you're choosing 4 objects. One is reflective one is glass, and behind this then you have to have some things that can see through it, another object and a fruit, okay, or vegetable or some small things here. Then you're using of 4 objects, and one of them must be reflective, one of them must be a glass, and 2 others is your choice. Don't choose of a very simple shapes. I want it's getting a little more complicated than the last weeks. Then in the end is, okay, I'm gonna look at my shapes. I use of the pencil, you can use a pencil, and making the last adjustment here. And okay, that it's okay that you're using of the pencil. I made it darker because I want you see it good, but for a lot of places that I want to add the white charcoal, I don't have to have the pencil marks. Okay, this is knitted eraser, very great for charcoal and pastel. For example, if you don't want to rub it, just push it here and take off the pigments. This is a very good, you can shape it, make a shape with this, and use of this in the different places for the charcoal. So I'm gonna just make it a little clean. Okay, it's not a clean one. Okay, and I don't want to see a lot of the lines here, especially on my transparent subject that I want to add very light values to it. The technique is like the technique that we had on the on the graphite regular pencil. Then we are gonna do the same things. We're gonna start from the dark to light. Where is the darker part? Where is the lighter part? Then when we are making it, for me it's getting it darker here and getting lighter here, but because this ceramic has a lot of reflection on this, then remember that I'm making the reflection, I'm making the details and on this, but important is in top of everything is we are gonna add the dark and light. Okay, this is the part that I see the reflection of the fabric here, it's lighter. This part is darker, but I have a light area here. Okay, then I'm gonna keep this light area here, and I'm gonna start with the first, just make it from the dark here. You see I'm not touching it yet here. To the lighter area, it's a transition of dark to the lighter area, and you see because of the gray tone I'm not gonna make it really dark, and from the light again that that it's getting darker here. When I'm putting and setting up my objects, I wanted to see this part with a darker background, then it's gonna be more interesting. Then when you're putting your setting up your objects, thinking about how it's gonna be more interesting. Okay, this is the first that I'm making it with the dark and medium and light. Then I'm coming and making this part just lighter first, but after that I'm coming on everything, and on everything I'm adding another layer of the dark, medium and light. Then okay, and you see that I'm using of the side of my charcoal. For that part is I'm seeing very bright reflection here. I have a very bright reflection here. I'm not gonna touch it. It's very important that you know, when you're using of the black charcoal and white together, if you're using of them on top of each other, the result is a very muddy gray. Then it's better that we are not adding it on top of each other unless it's necessary and unless you're using of this somehow, that I'm gonna show you how. So I'm gonna come with the darker area that I have here, and a little darker area that I see here. It's getting darker, dark on the top. Okay, this is the first level of the first step. Then we are looking of the general dark and light that we have here, and I'm making it just generally dark and light. Okay, we are not gonna, I think I need to adjust it here a little. Okay, and then remember, for the darker area, if when I'm making it here darker, I'm exaggerating the darkness of this, because with the exaggeration of the darkness, I'm creating a contrast that lets me to see the edge better. Then I'm coming with this part. Again, be very careful with your charcoal, and charcoals is very dark, then you have to control the darkness of this. And I'm gonna again make a exaggeration of the dark here. Everywhere that you feel you want to use of the pencil, use of pencil. You can use of the pencil, I'm gonna show you how. And after that is, this is again the first step. Then we are just looking at the first step, but I want to exaggerate in the breaking the shape that I see here. Then I'm gonna start to show it from here, and I'm not gonna make it very you know, good shape over there, just a ghostly shapes. We're gonna work on this later again. So this is the first step, and we're gonna do it to everything else. I'm gonna make it a faster video, and we're gonna back and talk about how we're doing the details. Okay, now after the first layer, that was the general light and dark that we did, we're gonna start with the adding details to it. Whatever that I see over there, I'm gonna add to it. As you see, I work with the darker area, leave some part that it's gray, just gray. When I see just the background, I left it just with the background. And in the light and dark, I added. I try to don't put the white on top of the black. And right now is that I'm working on the most of details that I see. When I'm looking at the details of the windows here, just remember that don't make it like a very geometric shape. It's gonna go have some kind of the distorted shapes, because it's going to show on the very curvy objects. I'm gonna look at the reflection of the wine glass here. Then you see the reflection of the wine glass that is coming, and changing the, but I'm using up the sometimes white on the black. I'm not trying to mix them together. Okay, just put it and don't try to mix it. Then I'm using up the shape of the glass here, and I'm getting very close to the another shape that I have, that it's the real wine glass, and I'm using up my pencil. And some kind of the thing is that you have to choose that you want to have it or no. You don't have to make whatever that you see. You're choosing between some interesting details and some it's not interesting and you don't want to have it here. Some part of this that I covered with the dark charcoal, but I want to make it with white. I'm gonna just raise this area and coming with the white charcoal to show the reflection. Okay, then in this area I want to make it a little smoother. Then I'm using of the charcoal, make it just darker in this area. Even I don't see it, just remember that something is that you're doing in the drawing that you cannot see it in the real objects. And this is that some things that an artistic touch, and we see the same value here, but I want to show it in the round shape. Then on the top of them I'm gonna make it a little darker area in both sides. Then it's gonna show more 3D shapes. Okay, for that part, for this part, I'm gonna use of the more darkness here. See that some part of this, leave it just with the gray of your paper. And so for that part I want to have some things here too. I don't want to leave it just very simple black here. Then even here you're gonna use of the darker values and lighter values. And next to the stand base of the wine glass, I'm gonna make a good darkness. Then when we are working on the glass, it's gonna show itself better. You know, I'm not gonna come from top to bottom, but I want to have a good contrast around it, just a little lighter, a little darker, but with good contrast. Let's make our glass pop out. Okay, then as much as you want, you can continue. I'm not gonna go to finish it until the last details. I don't have time, but you can, and you have to go and add whatever details that you see here. All of the details that you see, adding to it. Don't blend it. Remember that the blending is a technique that we are using, but I want you first doing it just without blending, then we are seeing the texture wherever that you want to make it smoother. Okay, make it smoother just with your charcoal, blend it with the charcoal, but not with your finger and not with your stump. Okay, this is, yeah, I cannot stop it. I have to just do a little more details, but it has a lot of things that we can continue to add it to it until we're getting to the almost like a picture, black and white picture artist. And just adding whatever that you see, exaggerate on these. Some part of this you can just eliminate some of the details that you don't want to do, and the other part just continue. In this part is that I'm gonna add a little more darkness to here, you know, and bottom part and here in these kind of the details coming in both sides. I don't have a lot of the light in this part, but you see when I'm doing it, I'm losing these leaf things here. Then back with your pencil and make a good contrast. Okay, I'm doing some part of these on the leaves, some of them I'm gonna just continue it, then it's gonna be a grayish. Some part of this I'm doing on the tomato, then it's coming to be a shadow that we see here. Then coming with the different, don't make it just dark. Coming, even I cannot see it like that, but I'm, again, as an artist, you have to make your work interesting, and this is the freedom of the artist, that you can use of the any elements that you want to make it more interesting. Then this is the last one that I have here. Okay, but this part still I cannot see difference between that this is a part of the tomato and this is a part of the leaves. Then I'm gonna come and adding a little more of the details here, then showing that it's coming on the tomato. And some very dark shadow in the bottom part. Okay, for that one is mostly that we have a lot of the reflections here, but a lot of gray area. I just left it with a lot of the gray area. I'm coming and adding just very, barely in some area. I'm adding the gray because I don't want that we getting confused the border of this in compare with that one. And this is the area that it's working very good with the blending in that part. And we can use of the blending in another drawing for the reflective ones. As I told you, we just want to learn the right now the basic of the charcoal and how we are using of the paper with the tones to create it. Then just I'm coming to add some of the light and dark that I see here. I like this one better. Everywhere that you're adding the reflection, light or dark, follow the shape of your objects. In this stage, I'm gonna just, it's a step that I want to clean all of my fingerprint and everything, and I'm gonna spray it, and after that, we're gonna go to the more details. Okay, in this step, we're gonna use of the workable fixative spray, and when you want to use of this, first clean everywhere, because when you're using of this, it's very hard to get rid of the some of the unwanted marks like fingerprints on your paper. Then clean everywhere as much as you can. And then is that you're using of this outside. Right now I'm in my studio, but don't use of this inside, it's not good for your health. Then when you want to use of this, if you're getting it very close to it, it's gonna make some stain on this, and most of your pigments gonna blow out. Then with this distance, it's about 20 inches, it's good. You're gonna do it one time is good, because still I want to continue working on this. I did it especially for this part because I want to come with the white and black on top of this, and I don't want to mix the white with the black. Okay, I'm gonna come back to it and I'm gonna add some details. Okay, let's a few seconds until it's getting dry, then I'm gonna back.